Growl, growl, prow, prow. Hello, my friends. I am the Lion of Truth, and it's been a few months since I've done a video, an actual video like this at all, where I make the video, edit the video, upload it, record it, and upload it quickly, in the same week. I've been wanting to do this video for a while now, but I never got a chance to because I've been working so much. My schedule is freaking 5 or 6 days a week. I have one day off, maybe 2 days sometimes. 12-hour days, manual labor, 5:30 to 5:30. I get up at 3:30 in the morning and my bedtime is 7:30. So basically the pandemic has changed my life in good ways and bad ways this past year. It is October 22nd, I believe, 2020. And it's right around Halloween. I love Halloween. I'm so excited. I'm actually doing, for those of you that are interested in Resident Evil, I'm doing a playthrough of all the games, all the numbered games, starting with 0 up to 8. I'm going in order. I'm calling it, the series is Road to Resident Evil 8 Village. So if you're interested, check that out. I've never played 0 and I've never played 6, so I'm very excited when I'm going through and playing these. I'm loving 0. I've only played about an hour or two. I'm loving it. I'm going to play more tonight. Got to get some stuff done today. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, by the way. I woke up naturally at 7 o'clock. Even though I'm still tired, I know I need to get up to keep my body in sync, keep my body in rhythm of being able to go to sleep at 7:30 at night and get up at 3:30 in the morning. But anyway, this video I've wanted to do for a long time because I should have done it. I thought I already did do it, to be honest, back in the spring, but it's now almost here, so I'm glad I'm getting it done at least a month early, month and a half, almost 2 months. Game of the Year 2020. What's it going to be? What are the competitors? What are the nominees, in my opinion? I could have told you this back at the beginning of the year, and I'm pretty sure I did in multiple videos. I just didn't put it in the title because the video was not about Game of the Year. I just probably mentioned it in some of my streams as well. These are the ones I believe are going to be on, and there's 5 main ones and one that I want to be on that I would love to win, but I don't think it will. And I'll get into that. Okay, so the main games I think are going to be on the nominees for Game of the Year 2020 are, in no particular order, this is just me naming them off my memory, okay? I don't have anything in front of me. I'm literally just recording with my phone. I'm laying down on my bed. All right. Final Fantasy VII, Doom Eternal, The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and Cyberpunk 2077. Those are the 5 games that I think are going to be nominated for Game of the Year 2020. I'll say it right off the bat. I'll start narrowing it down. I don't think Final Fantasy VII will win for the I didn't play it, first of all, but I don't think it'll win for the sole reason that it's a remake, that it's already been out before. It's kind of like what happened with Resident Evil 2 last year in 2019. I think Resident Evil 2 came out in 1999, or 1998, if my memory serves. And the remake happened 21 years later, 2019, and it was amazing, and it was a nominee for Game of the Year 2019. It just didn't win. Sekiro won, and I believe that's partly because it's a new IP. People want new, fresh things. No matter how good you remake an old thing, the only way I could ever see that occurring is like with an Ocarina of Time remake or Majora's Mask remake. That's, a Zelda remaster, remake. That could maybe take Game of the Year. But other than that, I don't think there's any games out there that have the prestige enough with a wide enough fan base to win. I'm so happy Sekiro won. So good. But yeah, even if Final Fantasy VII does deserve to win based on the game, I haven't played it. Maybe it is that good to win Game of the Year. I don't think it will, for the sole purpose that it is a remake. Not enough people will have played it or support that, in my opinion. And what was the other one I don't think is going to win? Is it Doom Eternal? Yeah, Doom Eternal I don't think will win because it's in my opinion, once again, more of a niche type of game where, it's very mature, bloody, maybe creepy, way too action heavy, way too fast, and even difficult, depending on the setting you put on, of course. But still, just from the outside, an outsider's perspective, to sell to a wide audience. That's my thoughts on the game. It's you have to be a very particular type of person to want to play Doom. and it's not a game that just anyone can get into, really. So that's why I don't think Doom's gonna win, even though I hope it's on the list and I think it deserves to be on the list. I haven't played it. Once again, I've only played Doom 2016, but I've seen gameplay of Doom Eternal, and it just looks like 2016 ramped up. In 2016, Doom is the most responsive shooter I've ever played in my life. It is like Halo responsive. Unbelievable. It's amazing. Okay, so I really think it's going to come down to these 3 games. I think if we look at the votes and we break it down by polls and surveys when they start coming out in November and early December, I think it's going to be the trinity is Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and Cyberpunk 2077. Now, it's interesting to note that Cyberpunk is going to be on the list, but it shouldn't be, because every year, as far as I remember, with the Game Awards, that's what I'm basing all this off of anyways, what I'm predicting. I don't care what really anyone else gives, what other, like if IGN gives freaking, Among Us the Game of the Year. Like, no. I don't care about those. I care about the ones where people get to vote, and the one that has the most views where most people go, because I'm looking for a large sample size. Do you understand what I'm saying? The larger sample size in any question you have, not just talking about video games, I'm talking any question, the larger the amount of people you get to answer, the more accurate that answer is going to be. Does that make sense? If you just ask one person a question, you're only getting an answer from that singular person. That doesn't represent the population of the planet Earth as a whole. You see what I'm saying? You need to ask the whole planet if you want to have an accurate representation of their opinions and their thoughts and desires. Okay? So that's why the outlet that gets the most views, the most individual human souls voting, that's what I'm going to look at. And so far as to my knowledge, it's the Game Awards, and it always has been since I think 2013 when they came around. Because most of the time, you guys got to understand, people don't like video games. Like growing up, all older adults and even a lot of kids, everyone looked down on video games. It's only in the past couple years, maybe even year, where video games are starting to get really accepted and pushed through mainstream. Especially, I would say, COVID really helped it out. The virus really helped the situation for video games, because people have been home almost a year, and what they're doing with their time is playing games. One of the things they're doing, obviously, with their time, because they've been home. They're around their Xboxes and PlayStations and TVs and computers. Obviously, we're doing a lot of other things, some good, some bad, since we're being so stagnant, right? Most people, I have this other job now, and I'm not at all going crazy. But, so, what was I saying? Cyberpunk shouldn't be on the list because, it's always been November 15th, the cutoff date. If you want to be on the Game of the Year of that year list, you have to be released by November 15th. And Cyberpunk is coming out November 19th. And the Game Awards, I think, is December 10th, 2020. So Star Wars, I think it's called Jedi Fallen Order. That didn't come out till I think the 17th or the 23rd or something like that, in later mid-November of 2019. And it should have been on the Game of the Year list, in my opinion. But it wasn't, because it came out too late. And Jeff Keighley, the creator, said, games that missed the deadline will be put onto the next year's list. And I just don't like that, even though it makes the most sense. I just don't like it, because I wanted games that came out in 2019 to be able to be part of the 2019 list. You see what I'm saying? But that wasn't the case for Jedi. However, it looks like he's bending the rules this year to making it the cutoff November 30th, I think, or something like that, which means Cyberpunk can be part of the list. It can be part of Game of the Year 2020, which, like I said, I just feel like it's unfair to other games. So if he's going to pick a date, I feel like there has to be a date. He's changing it, and there has to be a set date, and that's it. You can't be changing it for individual games. You know what I mean? You hear me, Jeff? You can't do that, man. You got to pick a date, be a man of your word, and just set it there. And honestly, I feel like the Game Awards should be a set date too. If you want to make it December 10th, always make it December 10th. That way you never have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about scheduling or anything like that, or people wondering or setting up different meetings. No, it's everybody knows this is going to be the date. That's it, every year. And you plan about that date accordingly every single time. It'll become a thing. Make a day of it. Make it a day that, people can remember, like the Oscars and E3. But those don't even have set dates. And I don't understand why people don't do set dates, man. I don't get it. You should just do it no matter what. Same thing with the cutoff. So if you're going to make it November 15th, make it November 15th. If you want to make it November 3rd. If you're going to do November 30th, you definitely need to put the Game Awards later. It needs to be like the 15th of December or the 20th, even closer to Christmas, because people need time to play the game and review it accordingly. You can't just play a game in a week. Even 2 weeks I don't think is enough. I would say 3 weeks is enough for people to really get into the games that come out, write a review, understand them, and then rank it accordingly against all the other games of that year. So I would say 3 weeks. So if you want to do November 30th as the cutoff, then, you know, late December, right around Christmas, you gotta move the Game Awards. Okay, so that was, so Doom Eternal I don't think is gonna win, even though any of these games deserve to win, in my opinion. Of course they all deserve it. That's why I think they're on the list, right? I wouldn't say Game of the Year contenders if I didn't think each one of them had their own merits to win. Okay, so Doom Eternal. Then the three titans I think that are going to be it are, Last of Us Part 2, Cyberpunk, and Ghost of Tsushima. I could see the only one, like, right off the bat that I think is going to... Let me just tell you what I think is going to win. I think it's, based on what I've seen, I think it's going to be Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk or Ghost of Tsushima. Not The Last of Us Part 2, unless it's... If The Last of Us Part 2 wins Game of the Year, then I don't know. That's the only one out of this list that I think remember, those are the 5, but I have a 6th one that I would love to be on here. But Last of Us Part 2 does not deserve to be Game of the Year, period. It has everything that it does, that it needs, except the storyline. The storyline and the characters. That is, in my opinion, I think I gave it like a 4 out of 10 for the storyline. Overall, I gave The Last of Us Part 2 a 7. I think that was my final score on the game. It's not a garbage game, you guys. It is a garbage story and characters. Absolutely. Terrible trash. But the graphics, the gameplay, the music, the movement, like the atmosphere, the other things about that game are incredible. You know, like 9.7, 10 out of 10 type of things. So you average that with a 4 of the story, you know. To me, it ends up around a 7, maybe a 6. But I'll be nice and say 7 because it's my favorite time of year. October is my favorite month of the year, by the way. I love October, you know, with the leaves changing and the Halloween and the pumpkins and the smell of the air. I just love it. Something about it, man. It's great. The spookiness of it. It's just, And then it leads right into November and Thanksgiving and the food. Used to be a lot of food and, you know, family time, and then that leads right into Christmas time, December. It's 3 or 4 holidays, bam, 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 back in a row, all the months, you know, October, November, December, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then New Year's, you know, bam. And then I hate the beginning of the year. Oh, it's horrible. January to like June, there's just nothing. There's nothing. You have Valentine's Day, okay? You have Easter. I love Easter, of course, but that's it. You know, and that's in April. There's nothing. January, nothing in March, nothing in May. It's just like there's just nothing going on. Nothing in June even. And then you got 4th of July, cool. It's just the last 3 months are by far my favorite months of the year. There's October, November, December. And October is my favorite one. And there's like football season, man. I love football. Even though I don't have time really to watch it. But anyway, okay, I thought the video would be like 8 minutes long. I'm glad I actually put in this clip that I have here. Anyway, okay, so Last of Us Part 2, I don't think it deserves to win based on the story alone. That's it. Otherwise, it could win Game of the Year. It has the music, the gameplay, the graphics. It has all that to back it up. But nope. Ghost of Tsushima, I haven't played. I've just heard amazing things. I haven't heard like anything negative about that game. That's why I think it deserves to be on the list. I myself, just looking at the trailer, I've seen I think 1 trailer, maybe 2. It's, absolutely. It has the most moving particle effects that I've ever seen in any video game. And it's one of the most beautiful games I've ever laid eyes on. And I haven't even touched it. I haven't even played it. The amount of, it's just samurais, horses, tall blades of grass, you know, wind, weather. It's just, oh my God. And then, the last one is Cyberpunk, right? based on what I've seen, it looks like it's reaching the widest audience. You know, it's a shooter. It's unlike Doom. It's more of a modern type shooter, similar to Call of Duty, in the way that it behaves, but it has the RPG elements, which brings in all the Soul series. What else is there? Oh my God, why is my brain blanking? Just people, the Elder Scrolls, the Fallouts, the people that love those types of games where you build your character up like an insanity, as opposed to just Call of Duty or Halo where you're just set, or Gears, you can't really upgrade your guy, which I would actually kind of like. I hope they add that eventually. But always keep the classic modes too. People say you can't please everyone, and that's just such bullshit, man. You can. You just need to take the time to. So Halo would be a perfect example. You have two communities essentially in Halo. The people that love the modern day shooting with the thrusting and the sprinting and the ground pounds and shoulder charge. And then you have the classic Halo fans that just want no sprint at all, no abilities, no clamber, no nothing, just walking, strafing the whole time. And both of them have their merits, you guys. I grew up playing Halo, so I love both sides. Absolutely. They both have their positives and negatives. However, for me personally, my Lionheart, I love the modern day. I really do. I love sprinting, sliding, the enhanced mobility. You can make more of your thoughts appear on the screen. You have more control over your character. The thrusting is my favorite part. My thrust, bar none, hands down. If I had to just keep one ability, take everything away, sprint everything, just leave me with thrust at least in Halo Infinite. But we haven't seen thrust, and that really worries me. I hope thrust is in Infinite, because it looks like they took out clamber and shoulder charge, which I really love. I love them. I love the abilities. It's just more tools in my toolbox to use. So I'm a fan of the modern day Halo, but apparently most people aren't. Or maybe a lot of people are, and they're just scared to say because of the old community and how intense they are with their opinions. Like I said, I love the old style too. Keep it in. Keep them both in. That's what I'm saying. You can bring them both, Design some maps. People are like, oh, but then they'd have to, design maps for each type. Yes, you would. You would have to design maps for each one. Some of the modern movement cannot be played on the older maps. Fine. That's fine. That'll make it even more unique when you go and you play each mode. You'll have more uniqueness to each thing. The old maps can have Lockout and Ivory Tower and the beautiful Halo 2 maps. Halo 2 are the best maps, in my opinion, of all time. The best design. Halo 3s were really good, and then it just got worse and worse, 4 to 5. But Halo 2, Halo 1 had some good ones too. I'm talking about for online, the competitive scene. Halo 2 and Halo 3, those maps, man. Oh my God, especially Halo 2. So I could play them for the rest of my life. They're that good. And you could design maps similar to that, but with modern day mechanics, with sprint and thrust. Make the maps bigger, make the proportions bigger. It can be done, you guys. It's all about how much work are they willing to put in. Anything can be done. Nothing is impossible, okay? Impossible is nothing. So yeah, Cyberpunk has this wide audience. It has Keanu Reeves. Neo is part of the game, like apparently a big part of the game. He's like Johnny Silverhand or something, that you play with. And it's a single player, I think, as far as I know, single player story-driven game. There is going to be multiplayer, but hopefully that's released in 2021. Let this game be judged alone on its single player merits. And once again, I can't wait, guys. A single-player, story-driven game, that's what's going to win Game of the Year. Have you noticed a pattern with all these games? Man, they're all single-player, story-driven games, baby. Yes. I love it, man. Each one, right? Final Fantasy VII, Doom Eternal, Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, Cyberpunk. All single-player story games. Freaking EA, man. Those idiots. God. Single-player games are dead. We don't make them anymore because our research shows people don't want them. Bullshit, man. Bullshit. Then years later, like 3 or 5 years later, they make freaking Jedi Fallen Order. They're like, oh yeah, whoops, we made a mistake. And they probably gave Visceral, no, it wasn't Visceral. They dismantled Visceral. Idiots. Visceral Games was amazing. They probably gave, who is it that made Jedi Fallen Order? God, what's their name? Oh my God, I'm blanking. Respawn. It's the guys who made Titanfall. God, Respawn. That's them. They probably gave them like nothing, like $10,000. Go make this game. Meanwhile, we're gonna focus on FIFA and Madden. Ugh, gross. But anyway, Where was I? Okay. So, yeah, those are the 5 games I think are on the list. I think the 3 it's going to come down to is Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, and Cyberpunk. But there's a 6th game, guys, that I think deserves to be on the list and could take the Game of the Year, in my opinion, but it won't because it's too niche of an audience. It's a game called Nioh 2, Nioh 2. It's from Team Ninja. They made Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive. Okay? This game is, talk about RPG, it blows anything that I've seen out of the water, you know? And I haven't seen much, but everything that I have seen, it is by far and away the most in-depth and amazing RPG, and one of the best games I've ever played. You create your own character, which I'm learning to love more and more as time goes on, as the graphics get better. And you are a samurai once again, and you can become a ninja, and you get all these abilities, these amazing abilities, these ninjutsus and onmyo magics. It's unbelievable, man. I have multiple playthroughs up on my channel. If you're interested, you can check it out. I made a beautiful princess. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought she was gorgeous. So, I think it deserves to win, but it doesn't have a large enough fan base. For some reason, Team Ninja has not been marketing these games well enough. They haven't been on the map. I think it's because of a lack of translation into English. You know, the Western audiences are really huge into video games. I think more so than most of the world. And we spend a lot of money on it, I bet. You know, per capita, I bet we spend the most. So if they can't market to English, that's going to be really difficult for them. And I think it has been for the past few years. Team Ninja's had this language barrier where they can't, you know, let us know what's going on. All the updates you see are in Japanese, and nobody knows how to read that. And translation is, we need to see videos directly from them. They've been interacting more on Instagram. I've been telling them to do it for years, and it seems like they've been taking my advice. They are posting a lot more. If you go back and look at the spaces of their posts, how much time elapsed in between each post, it's getting shorter and shorter. And I'm telling them, keep interacting with the fans. That's how you get engagement. That's how you grow, you know, and they seem to be doing it. And when Ninja Gaiden 4 comes out, I hope that's really when they're going to hit their stride and they can use that money and make another Dead or Alive, and hope maybe a new IP and a Nioh 3, you know, the next-gen consoles. I think the game just needs to look a little better. It needs to up the resolution. They need to add, you know, more depth and crystal clarity to the image. And we can really have a truly just masterpiece of a game. I think it already is, but just get those visuals up more, man. Okay, so yeah, that's my list, guys. Like I said, I don't think Doom will win because if things aren't gonna win, it's either because they're remakes or they're too niche of games. Like Nioh 2 won't win because of the Doom Eternal type situation where it's too specific of an audience, but that hasn't experienced it. I think most people would love Doom. Most people would love Nioh. But they have to give the games a chance, and the only way that's going to happen is if the game is played by a wide enough audience where they see others around them playing it. People will play garbage as long as they see other people playing it. Do you understand? As long as it's high up on the Twitch boards, as long as it's high up on the social media comments and marketing, people will play garbage. As long as a lot of people are playing it, everyone else will jump in. And that's something you have to realize and understand. So when people see Nioh 2 only has a couple thousand views on Twitch, they're not likely to click on it where they see Fortnite on the front page with 100,000 views right away, you know? Does that make sense? They want to be where everyone wants to be, where everyone else is. We're social creatures as humans. It's just natural. We need streamers to play these games, these really amazing games. That's the only way this is going to change, if really big personalities do it and play them. That's the only way. Unfortunately, they only want to play garbage, you know, and that breaks my heart. Imagine if the big streamers were playing Bloodborne, you guys, Dark Souls, Sekiro. Imagine what it would do. Ninja played Sekiro like 2 streams or some shit. He got his ass kicked and then he quit the game. He stopped streaming it, you know? That was a massive opportunity to get that game out there. And it's still one game of the year, baby, even without his support, which is great. I love it. It shows we don't need their validation. The world still sees quality, even if the big streamers don't play it. However, the games need more exposure, man. They do. These great games need more exposure. Only the great ones. Get rid of all the garbage. Neo needs to be up there. Of course, Halo needs to be up there. Final Fantasy does. They all do. Doom. Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima should have, millions of views. I'm not going to say Last of Us Part 2 because it does not deserve it. Not based on that story, man. Ugh. The Last of Us Part 2 made me realize that a story... I never knew. I never comprehended how much a story impacts a game for me, It brought the game down from like a 9 or 10 to a 7 for me, or 6. Because of how bad the story was. Even though the gameplay and music and stuff was top-notch and the graphics and animation. The story really ruined it, man. It did. Anyway, I guess that's about it. Video is longer than I thought, but all right. What do you guys think is Game of the Year? Do you think my list is accurate at all? Do you have other ones you think are going to show up? Is Among Us going to show up as Game of the Year? This little indie game that was whatever, and that just streamers started playing, and that's the reason it blew up, is because streamers started playing it. So, yeah. Let me know what you think. I'll see you guys in the next one. To infinity and beyond.